Two of our soul's biggest lessons are discernment and choice. But these aren't just lessons that we came here to learn, we came here to master them. Why? Because we've wanted to learn one simple truth, and that's truth with a capital T. The truth is that all is already given, both good and bad, and that we have a choice in which one we'll go with. Without discernment, though, will we make the right choice? Well, if you've ever wondered how to navigate the plan your soul has for you, how to dodge the obstacles, or maybe make the most of them, then this episode is for you. This podcast is all about helping you with your spiritual growth so you can overcome obstacles and manifest your destiny to crystallize all things good, basically, to have success on life's journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. So let's get started. Hi there and welcome. My name is Remy, like Do Re Mi. I'm a best-selling author and creator of the Get Unstuck Revolution. I help extraordinary women just like you dissolve the obstacles in your path so you can bring success to you. Now let's get started with today's video. Okay, let me jump off the screen here and switch to my laptop. Today, we're talking about how to navigate our soul's plan. If you've ever screamed to the heavens, just tell me what to do, then you might be somebody who's looking at how to navigate life's journey. And I have a hands-on roll up your sleeves exercise for you today that will help you navigate these waters toward success. If you'd like to see success in full abundance along life's journey, and if you're wanting to tap into a greater knowingness and align with the higher consciousness of your infinite self, instead of the lower ego thinking and negative thoughts that push success away, then this is for you. It's time to be unabashedly, unapologetically, happily untethered to ego thinking. It's time to align with the higher energies of our soul's path instead. This episode is for you if you wonder, is judgment always a bad thing? Can I change the energy of an obstacle? And how can I develop the strength or wisdom or courage that I need to get through these obstacles? Yes, these episodes are about how to find your hidden power when you want to transform challenges into successes. I like to call it the audacity of alchemy, because when we're feeling stuck, oh, it's never the situation that has us stuck. It's our energy about it that's become stuck in anxiety, overwhelm, doubts, worries, frustrations, indecision, and even anger. And often this is because of a spiritual injury that we've experienced, some kind of a hidden trauma. So it isn't the pain of our situation, it's the pain of not being connected into the natural energy of who we really are, of being connected to that magical part of us that's a creative vibrational being who can use positive energies to create what we want and bring it into physical manifestation. We can allow our manifestations to materialize and not get stuck in the negative vibrations that block them. These positive energies that we talk about so much here are where we find the magic of alchemy, because our choice of frequency, our choice of these positive thoughts and emotions can change the course of our journey. All right, so two of our soul's biggest lessons are discernment and choice. Now, let's just take a quick look at the difference between discernment and judgment, though, because if you've ever had to give a definition for these two words, discernment and judgment, did they trip you up? Well, judgment often has a connotation of punishment. Some people think of it as a divine sentence. Others think of judgment as unwanted opinions and even bullying. But judgment actually means to evaluate by comparing. So, what does discernment mean? I'll put this up on the screen for you. You'll often hear me use the word discernment instead of judgment, and that's mostly because of the clients that I work with who have been invalidated. They've been squashed, their needs ignored, and often they're told that they don't matter. In other words, they've been judged, but not in a kind way. But I often use this word discernment, which actually means perception or the act of perceiving. And sometimes the reason we haven't healed in a particular area is because we've been judging ourselves or judging the situation. But we'll remember from the Course in Miracles that healing is simply a shift in perception. So discernment is the act of perceiving. And healing is a shift in perception or a shift in how we've been perceiving these parts of our journey that have been tripping us up. Okay, so why are we talking about discernment today? Because this is one of the things that we came to this Earth School to master, not just to learn, but to master. We talk a lot here about ego and ego thinking. Ego thinking is the negative thoughts that we say and hear. These are the thought patterns that are based in doubts, worries, confusion, indecision, and anger. These are the thoughts we hear when we're coming unhinged or when we're spinning out of control. And while there are a lot of different definitions for ego, and a lot of people who feel like we should just release ego or overcome ego because ego is so bad for us, I actually believe that ego is here to show us the differences, to help us discern between what we want and what we don't want. It's discernment so that we can make a choice to create experiences that we'd like to experience. In other words, if we're in a situation that brings up emotions like sadness, overwhelm, annoyance, or frustration, we're very likely sitting in judgment and in a negative way. We know that our negative reactions are an opportunity to choose something different. We can choose our perspective, we can choose our thoughts about the situation. But remember, we never get stuck in a situation, we get stuck in our negative thoughts about the situation. So we can choose different thoughts when we change our perception. I had someone in a workshop recently who was feeling guilty. She was in an abusive relationship that she couldn't seem to get out of. And in her mind, commitments are everything, and you get married for better or worse. Now, he was a high powered lawyer, and they mostly had a beautiful life and a beautiful home. She was a trophy wife and rather enjoyed it. Well, for the most part, but he was showing no regret or remorse or any signs of changing. And yet she was still apprehensive about what to do. She didn't know how to shake these feelings of guilt. She didn't know how to change her perception. So, aside from this guilt, I asked her what other energies were present when she thought about this uncomfortable situation with her partner. And let me pull this up on the screen for you. She said the other energies that were present, the guilt, of course. She also mentioned conflict, struggle, drama, manipulation, and her emotions were escalated, all negative energies, right? And so I asked her, what were the exact opposite energies? What energies did she wish for? And she said, strength, wisdom, courage, and certainty about what to do. And I've got this comparison up on the screen for you here so you can see where she was and where she wanted to be in that desired energy. So we drew an imaginary circle on the floor, and this was a circle representing strength, wisdom, courage, and certainty, the energies that she wanted to move into. So I asked her to step inside this imaginary circle on the floor, and with discernment, which simply means to evaluate or compare, what did her inner strength tell her? With discernment, what did her wisdom tell her? What did her courage have to say? What kind of certainty was she looking for? And one by one, we went through these with a little bit of voice dialogue and even a few more, actually. And at the end of the exercise, she realized the situation couldn't be fixed. And she wanted to protect her own energy, but she also wanted to protect her health and maybe even her life. And I hear this story all too often. Through discernment, we are able to make a choice. And for her, her choice wasn't anything hateful or life changing, really. Her choice wasn't anything to feel guilty about. Her choice wasn't about making her husband wrong or making herself wrong for staying in the relationship. Her choice was to simply say, not now. And this freed her up to protect and nurture her own energy. And it freed her up to make some logical decisions about her next chapter in life so that she'd be coming from a position of strength and courage and wisdom. Using discernment, she could choose. All right. So, discernment is deciding between truth and untruth, between what's real and what's false, between what's love and what's not love, between love and the illusion that we live here on this planet. One discernment would be only love is real, everything else is illusion. In other words, the guilt, conflict, struggle, and drama that she was feeling was the illusion asking her to change her energy. and maybe even recapture the energy and the personal power that she once held that represented these qualities that she named as strength, wisdom, courage, and certainty. Remember, our choice of frequency, when we choose these positive life affirming energies, we're changing the course of our journey. So we are here to master discernment and choice. In fact, while I'm thinking about it, let's land on this just for a minute. Discernment is recognizing that only love is real and everything else is the illusion that's asking us to realize that only love is real. Make sense? These positive energies of love, compassion, patience, resilience, this is where we find our hidden power. And the negative energies are where we give our power away because negative energies don't represent these higher frequencies of love. Let me say that again. Our negative energies are where we give our power away because negative energies don't represent these higher frequencies of love. Okay. So, we're talking about the gal from the workshop with the abusive partner. And by using discernment about the qualities and behaviors of her husband, she could choose the right energetic path, which would lead her to a best possible outcome. Because our choice of frequency can change the course of our journey and the outcome that we'll end up with. So, we are here to master discernment and choice. Discernment is asking us to choose a high frequency energy like resilience, compassion, inspiration, betterment, kindness, and to disallow anything that isn't of a higher frequency. That may take some practice and it may take realigning our energy about every 7 seconds, but it's what we've come here to master: discernment and then choice. Why? Well, because we've wanted to learn this one simple truth: all is already given. All is already given. We've wanted to learn this. We've wanted to witness it and we've wanted to integrate it. All is already given and it's available right now. This means both good and bad experiences. We have a choice between experiences that are good or experiences that are not so good. We get to choose. So we want to choose consciously. Our choice is to make distinctions in our truth, to make distinctions, to discern what's true. And at the end of the day, well, only the positive energies can bring about change. The negative energies are based on ego. And the purpose of these negative emotions are to get us to choose something different. So we have a choice. All the ways that we can be joyful are already given. All the ways that we can be angry are already given. All the ways that we can grow and expand, they're already given. And all the ways that we can stay in confusion and stay small, they're already given. With this distinction, our choices become more clear. When we have discernment, our choices become more clear. We can live in the joyful, expansive energies, or we can live in the frustration, which is simply an illusion anyway, asking us to choose. Every minute of every day, it's a choice because all is already given, good or bad. And knowing this helps us navigate our journey. It's like choosing to walk through a raging storm or choosing a nice, beautiful, lazy river. It's a choice. So we come here wanting to learn discernment and choice so that we can know the truth that all is already given, good or bad. What we experience is up to us. It's our choice. And this helps us with the navigation of our journey. This is how we navigate our soul's plan. With discernment, we can make the right choices. Discernment and choice. All right. Remember when I mentioned the gal at my workshop, she was feeling guilty about her abusive partnership. Did she make the right choice? Well, it's not our place to judge. Was she suffering a spiritual injury because of her experiences with him? Of course. And she wanted to not only break this pattern, to heal this pattern, to make new choices, but also to repattern her thinking and get her own powerful energy back so that she could make the best decisions for a new chapter in her life. Because she learned in the workshop that her choice of frequency could change the course of her journey. With discernment, she could see that he was still controlling, still a bully, still fixed and unbending, not a team player, and still invalidating. And with this discernment, it helped her to make a choice, not to say no, but to say not now. Having this shift in perception changed her energy, it changed her frequency. She could see her own truth and what was right for her. She could have walked away. She could have said no. And maybe this would have made her guilt worse. Maybe the invalidation would have continued. We don't know. But I'm a big believer in doing what's right and doing what's right for you. It's so much easier when we can strip away the doubts. And this is what discernment can do for you, stripping away the doubts. Perhaps there was so much karma there for her that she couldn't see through the fog. Perhaps this was all about cleaning up this karmic relationships or this karmic relationship, sorry. Maybe it was a lesson in boundaries for her, but the point is she had a choice, good or bad. She could change the energy to something positive, or she could continue to struggle because all is already given. She had to find a way to step out of doubt and into her own wisdom and courage. She had to hold steady in what was right and what was right for her. She wanted to side with the positive energies and realize that the illusion was asking her to choose her own strength and her own wisdom and let anything else go that wasn't in the light. So much easier when we can strip away the doubts. And this is why I say that this topic of discernment and choice helps us to navigate our journey. It helps us to grow. So, what are we doing here? What are we doing with this information that we're talking about today? We are repatterning our ego thinking. Ego is often here to protect us, but we don't need its protection when we're directing the energies. We no longer want to be buried in doubts, anxiety, anger, uncertainty, impatience, regret. We no longer want to feel unhinged. We no longer want to need someone or something to be a certain way because we're already filling ourselves up with divine light and grace and spiritual high frequency thinking. We're making a choice. We no longer want to micromanage or have an incessant quest for control, but we want a new choice instead. We want to embrace ambiguities and mysteries, trusting in our soul's plan and standing in our strength, our courage, and our wisdom. We no longer want to respond or react, but to feel blessed, even if things aren't going our way. Blessed because we know we have a choice. Blessed because all is already given. And so we choose to respond and react to certain experiences with patience and compassion and appreciation because we know that our energetic choices can change the course of our journey. When we direct energies toward positive outcomes, we become one with the higher frequencies of acceptance, connection, gratitude. We surrender to our soul's plan, and then we trust the process because we know our soul made a plan for us before we ever got here. So, because all is already given, especially the good experiences and the positive outcomes, all we have to do is align with these higher frequencies. And this bypasses resistance and fears and ego and changes the course of our journey toward a most joyful outcome. So, I have an exercise for you today. If you enjoyed the story of the gal at the workshop and you want to try this on for yourself. And so the exercise is, let me put this on the screen. There we go. Imagine that you have a difficult relationship. It could be with a stepdad, a spouse, a sister, it could be a business relationship. And write down a simple statement about what makes it difficult. What makes it difficult? Just a bullet point, not a dissertation. For example, she walks all over my boundaries. She consistently goes back on her word. My partner utterly ruined my reputation on social media, or he does, everything he does is so difficult, right? What makes the relationship difficult, right? So step number one, imagine you have a difficult relationship. Who is it with? Number two, write down a very simple statement about what makes it difficult, just in a bullet point. And then step number three, make 2 columns on a piece of paper. In the left-hand column, write down what energies are present in this difficult relationship or situation. In our example, we had conflict, struggle, drama, manipulation. So in your left-hand column, write down what negative energies are present in your difficult situation. And then in the right-hand column, what are the exact opposite energies? In the right-hand column, what are the exact opposite energies? What energies would you wish for? In our example, we had strength, wisdom, courage, and certainty. So just jot down 5 or 6 positive emotions that you'd like to experience instead when you think about this relationship. And then with discernment, And remember, that simply means to evaluate with comparison. Look at your first positive emotion and do a little voice dialogue with it. What does it tell you? What does your inner strength tell you? What does your inner wisdom tell you? What does your inner courage tell you? Whatever your positive words were, what does it tell you? And then look at the second emotion you wrote down. Do the same thing. Does it have a message for you? The third emotion you wrote down, same thing. Does it give you a sense or some kind of direction? One by one, journal each of your positive emotions that you would like to feel when you think about the situation and voice dialogue about what message or direction it might like to reveal to you. For instance, if one of the emotions you might like to experience is strength, it might tell you to stand strong in what you believe is right for you. If one of your positive emotions is wisdom, it might want you to seek help from an outside source, maybe someone who's a communication coach or a family counselor. Or it might even say to you, I know exactly what to do, and give you a strong sense of resolution. If one of your desired emotions is certainty, you might realize that you've known the answer all along, but just been too afraid to put it into motion. What we're looking for here is discernment and then choice. Discernment and then choice. And then realize that all is already given and it's available right now. And so that's your exercise for today, to really embody and use discernment and choice so that you can be in the flow of positive possibilities for success. All that's required from you is a shift in energy, because your choice of frequency can change the course of your journey. As we empower ourselves towards self expression and who we are at our core without ego's negative thoughts and emotions that can drain us, we're choosing a higher frequency, higher and better thoughts, because our choice of frequency, our choice of our positive emotions, that brings on the change. So, reflecting back on everything we covered today, how can you apply what you've learned? Well, I hope this helps you as you're using the powers of alchemy to transform challenges and obstacles into positive new successes. This podcast is all about helping you have success on your spiritual growth journey. It's all about getting unstuck by unlocking your hidden power. If you still can't get your head around what's got you stuck in life or in business, you can tell me about it. You can send me a question to questions@unlockyourhiddenpower.com, or you may not know that you can grab a free copy of my latest book at unlockyourhiddenpower.com. Well, thanks for joining me today, and I'm wishing you a life filled with all the alchemy you need to bring success to you. Feel free to share this video with anyone you know who's feeling stuck, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.